And welcome back to the shit behind the show, everyone. So, before I get started, I just want to throw out some gratitude. Thank you to all of you that like, subscribe, follow. Please go find me on YouTube and subscribe. The shit behind the show. On Instagram, it's the shit behind the show. On Facebook, it's the shit behind the show. I'm sorry, on YouTube, it's Tana Blonde, and on TikTok, it's Tana Blonde. Holy cow, I'm getting tired. And also, thank you to those of you who have gone along my journey with me so I can help you with yours. So this week, I've been discussing love languages. We've already gone through two of them. Two. Wow. So this one is one that can be a little iffy. So receiving gifts. And in my past, I discussed in the first episode, I was with someone who he lavished me with gifts. Like it was like taking me shopping all the time. He was always buying me something. And that was just his love language. But I remember going into work one day and I started getting called a gold digger. And being told I was materialistic. Just because receiving gifts is your love language does not mean you're materialistic. There's a difference in being materialistic. Like showing love to someone through gifts, it doesn't matter the size of the gift. Now, if a partner is saying to you, you have to buy me expensive gifts, you have to buy me a new car, you have to spend this much money on me, I want the $3,000 purse, that can be materialistic. If the little things, the little gifts aren't good enough, that's more materialistic. But the love language of receiving gifts, it can be the smallest little thing, and that still means a lot. On the flip side of that, also, just because it's not your love language and just because that's not something that you do, or a way you perceive love, does not mean you should not buy your partner gifts. Gifts is not my love language, not my number one. It is not my guys. But we do buy each other little things here and there. He's sweet. He took me shopping a couple weeks ago and bought me a dress and some shoes just to be kind. And it meant the world to me. It really did. That was the kindest gesture. I love the dress. I love the shoes. And I have bought him things in the past as well. And he'll always tell me, don't spend money on me. Don't spend money on me. But he appreciates the gifts, right? He can buy himself anything. And historically, with our relationship in the past, I've been able to do that as well. So just for me, the fact that he pays for our dates and things like that, that's huge to me. That's like, I know that's a man thing and they should anyway, but I see that as a kind gesture and I appreciate that. Also, like I said, buying me a cute little outfit. He tells me that all the time. I just want to take you shopping and dress you. And I'm like, I'll be your Barbie doll. Sure, he can dress me. But that is one of my love languages. That would be one of the last ones probably. But I do appreciate the gestures. So yeah, receiving gifts. If your partner is big on that, I dated one guy who was constantly buying just little things. I've dated a couple that were receiving gifts was their thing. And every time I saw this guy, he had something different. And it was like from the smallest keychain to like clothes, I really did appreciate it, but it was just constant. And I was like, okay, but he lacked in other areas, words of affirmation were not his thing, and he didn't show me love in that way. What other ones was he? Yeah, that was probably really the only one that he had was receiving gifts. And so that's all he really did for me. And for me, I was like, do you even like me? Because we did spend time together. Quality time was probably one of his as well. But there were no acts of service. There were no words of affirmation, nothing like that. It was just mostly receiving gifts. So again, it's important that you you do show love in this way. In fact, I'm just going to throw it out there that all of the love languages are important in a relationship, but it's a great idea to pick out the top two or three that really, really speak to you and really make you feel loved, and share that with your partner. Now, also, if receiving gifts is your love language, it is not fair for you to expect that from your partner at all the time. At all times. Don't use this love language as a way to manipulate or control your partner and convince them that they need to spend a lot of money on you or buy you expensive gifts or whatever. Again, that's materialistic. But rather just, hey, when you do these things, this is how I perceive love. This is how I feel loved. And, or if I do these things for you, this is me showing love. Rather than, oh, well, if he doesn't do this for me or buy me this, then he doesn't love me. I had a friend years ago that used to demand that men buy her things all the time. And it didn't matter. And she would demand it from the men I dated for me as well. She would tell them like, oh, you need to be buying her expensive gifts and you need to pay for blah, blah, blah. And basically like, why aren't you paying her way through life? Which I don't agree with. And she demanded it. And I don't think that's okay either. Just because that is how you perceive love and that's what speaks to you, you should never demand this from your partner. If your partner cannot provide the love language that you are seeking and it's not working out, it's probably just not working out. Okay. And not everyone has a bank account that is just, money's just sitting there like, oh, let me just buy you gifts. I can totally understand that a lot of people go into relationships and they're like, oh, I don't want to spend too much money on this person because I don't know where this is going yet. But yeah, I want to show them I care for them, but I don't want to break the bank and then have it not work out. I hear that all the time from men. And ladies, there shouldn't be this big expectation, especially on a first date, that a guy spends a lot of money on you. I typically will go for coffee on the first date. It's been a while since I've been on a first date, but that's an ideal first date for me. I don't demand that a guy spend a lot of money on me. And gentlemen, don't do it. Don't come in overbearing either. Don't be buying her expensive gifts right away and taking her on these trips and spending all this money on her right away, because that can come across as very needy. I know it doesn't sound that way, but it does. It is. It can come across as very needy, codependent, and just clingy. And none of us like clingy. Clingy is scary, actually. I talked about that a couple months ago when I was talking about the different dating terms. Yeah, go listen to that one. It's important. But yeah, don't overuse any of these love languages. If I can give you any advice as far as love languages, don't overuse them. Don't over exaggerate. Even words of affirmation. I love that my guy is so sweet and he dotes on me. But if he was constantly every 5 minutes, you're pretty, you're pretty, you're pretty, I'd be like, is this even genuine? Like, do you even mean it? Are you just doing this just because it's my love language and you're just trying to make sure I'm not going anywhere? Yeah, it doesn't seem authentic and genuine. So make sure you are being genuine, you're being authentic with your partner, and you're doing it to show them love so they understand, yes, this person loves and cares for me, but not over exaggerating and not demanding it. That's a lot of rules, guys. No. Again, it's really easy. And also, again, I would encourage you to implement a little bit of all of these into your relationship. But make sure, again, you've got those top 2 or 3 that really make your partner feel loved and understand that you love them. Receiving gifts is kind of self-explanatory, and it's one that I don't feel like is super common if you really, really dive deep into your heart and soul and what you really want and desire. I don't feel like gifts are really that big of a deal, but I know they are to some people. So that is number 3 for today. Thank you for joining me. Lots of love to you all. Have an amazing day, and until tomorrow, bye.